Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo Legion 5 17ARH05H. Alright, so this laptop has a bad keyboard, and like the function keys and stuff weren't working, and ASD weren't working, so we're going to be replacing it. Keep in mind, this keyboard is a really big pain to replace. They have melted plastic holding it in place. I'm going to be using a 3D printer pen to hopefully melt some new plastic to hold it back into place. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to use some JB Weld to hold that in place, and then that's going to be a little more difficult because I need to put stuff that will hold the keyboard up into the frame while it sets overnight, but most likely we're going to be able to use the 3D printer pen. Alright, we're going to be using a J1 or JS1 or PH1 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like this on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. Alright, if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. They're actually missing a screw here. Alright, anyways, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well. Even if you just say like hi or something, it'll help a lot. Alright, and yeah, other than that, let's go ahead and continue removing all these screws. Alright, I don't know why, but YouTube always keeps reducing how much they pay every year, so it would help a lot if you guys can yeah, help out by watching a few of my other videos or contributing to the channel if it helps you. Alright, so anyways, now that we got all the screws out, we're going to have to pop this bottom cover out. I already tested the keyboard to make sure before starting, but other than that, let's go ahead and get this out. Alright, so we're going to go from the bottom here. Alright, I use my fingernails. You can use plastic pry tools, but basically we're going to pop this air vent area first. Okay, so get in there, and then you can pop that up. And then once you pop that, you can get another pry tool or fingernail to go in here, and let's see if it will work. Come on, there we go. Alright, so you can see we pop that up. Okay, once you get that, I get my fingernail to push down here, and then my other ones pull up, and then I'll run my fingernail along there. Again, you can use plastic pry tools, you don't have to use fingernails, but fingernails are free and they grow back all the time, so yeah. Alright, we're going to continue working our way over here, then we're going to go over here and pull this. Alright, there you go. You can see those clips came up. Then from over here, we're going to have to kind of get under this and kind of pull those clips. Let's see if we can just lift it, maybe. No, okay. So we're going to have to go over here and then going to get under there as we're kind of pulling up. You can slide a pry tool underneath or whatever works for you, but basically we're going to slide it along the little edge there, okay, as we kind of pull it apart. So we're going to go along, and you can see we can kind of work our way down the edge, popping those clips. Alright, oh, this clip looks like it broke. Huh. Alright, well, there's one clip that's broken there. Alright, anyways, we're going to go ahead and pull this out, and that's what it looks like. Wow, this thing is super dusty, look at that. I'm going to see if I can clean it up. It's not as visible on camera, but it's super like brown and powdery there. And if you look at these fans, they're like completely clogged. I don't even know how it was cooling itself. Alright, so to be safe, first thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. We'll do a thumbnail later after I clean it up, I guess. Alright, so Lenovo is doing something annoying here. We got to switch actually to a J0, JS0, or PH0 screwdriver. I don't know why, but they decided to use tinier screws here. And you want to keep in mind that if your screw starts like slipping, like twisting too easily, like back and forth, not getting a good fit, you do want to switch back maybe to the J1, because yeah, they're switching back and forth. It's very annoying, and if you use the wrong screwdriver, you can actually damage these screws. Alright, so we're going to get all these screws out for the battery. Okay. Hopefully I'm going to have enough room on my desk to work on this, because there's going to be a lot of screws. Alright, after you remove the 6 screws, we can lift this up. Usually what I like to do is I get underneath with one hand and the other hand on top, and then I'll kind of just wiggle it side to side as I'm kind of pulling it away. Just like this. Let's see. Oh, actually, this battery has little wings, so if you can, let me zoom in here to show you better. if you can, it's actually best to use the wings of the connector. I use my fingernails, and then I'll kind of just wiggle side to side. You can see it slowly coming out, and there we go. Then it walks itself out. Alright, also if you're replacing the battery, make sure you can see how they have this connector. They put a mark so you know which side's up. You want to make sure these exposed metal pin parts are face down, alright? There's a lot of gross stuff on this battery as well. So let's clean that off a little bit. I don't know what that is, but usually stuff like that is like bugs went inside and then they started like peeing and pooping in there. So yeah, that might be what killed this one. Alright, anyways, we got the battery cleaned up. Let's set that aside. Alright, after disconnecting the battery, it's always a good idea to open up the laptop and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This makes it a lot safer to work on, alright, and greatly reduces the risk of damage, especially if you're going to be messing with the LCD LVDS connector. In this case, because we need to get everything out of the keyboard area to get the keyboard out, we're definitely going to be messing with the LCD LVDS connector. Anyways, I'm gonna clean up these gross fans and I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. Here we go. Clean that up. You can see it's a lot less dusty here. Okay, did the best I could. There's still a little bit, but it's a lot better now. Alright. You can see the fans now. Like, you can actually see the fans now, not like the caked up dust balls. Alright. Oh, I'm getting a call. Give me a second. I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Let's go ahead and continue this. Alright, we already drained the power. So next we're going to start taking everything else out because we got to get all these boards out in order to work on this. Very, very bad design. I hate this. Alright. Anyways, let's go ahead and at least most of the upgrade components are easy to get to. So let's zoom in. First things first, there's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive slot here. There's actually no hard drive in it, but they put this bracket for you. I'm going to switch over to the J1 or JS1, PH1, whatever you want to use, and we're going to get these screws out, alright? Don't use a J0 or PH0 for this because the screws are bigger, unless for some reason your J1 or PH1 doesn't fit. Alright, but you should be using a PH1 or J1 screwdriver for this. Alright, so we'll get these 4 screws out. Once you get those 4 screws out, we're also gonna flip this latch here up. Okay, once you flip that latch, you should be able to pull this cable out. It feels like there's actually some adhesive under there, which is annoying. I don't know why they did that, but peel that up and then pull that back. Alright, and we should be able to lift this straight up. There we go. So this, how did they seat this in here? Interesting. So there's a plastic thing inside here, which I see. They put some adhesive wrapped around all of this. So if you wanted to use this caddy, you'd have to actually tear this piece off. And I don't want to have to do that because the customer isn't going to be using this. But you also need to peel this adhesive away from this. Okay, so you need to peel that up. And you need to peel this up. And you want to be very careful because you don't want to pinch this cable too hard because then you could damage the connection, the wire that runs through this. Alright, and then we can go ahead and pull this off. This is the SATA connector here for the hard drive. Okay, and as you can see, there's this plastic in here that I think I should be able to actually flop this out this way. There's this protruding plastic piece here. You need to kind of pull this tab away. Oh, why is there little pieces? The plastic's already coming apart. So there you go. You can pull this apart and you can see here, this is basically representation of the hard drive, and you have these screws that are hidden in here. So if you want to use this 2.5-inch SATA hard drive caddy, you have the screws that are pushed into this. Basically you would push these screws out this way. Okay, wow, they're stuck in there good. Let me take a look here. I think they're just, yeah, so they're just slid in here. I think usually you would use like a small flathead screwdriver or something to push this, but basically you can push the screw over this way. Okay, I'm gonna have to be very careful here so I don't launch it. Okay, There you go. So basically you push the screw out, and there you go. Now you have the screw. There's 4 of them there. All right, I'm gonna put this back in because we're not gonna be using that. But these 4 screws go into the sides. So assuming you're getting rid of this plastic caddy, okay? Let me push this screw back in. Okay, so I'm gonna just push the screw back into the holder there. So that's kind of cool that they give you that to hold the screws in place. Yeah, so I think you can also go from the top here and use like a small flathead screwdriver to push them that way, and that would get these screws out. All right, that's probably less risky than pushing it from in here. I don't know, depending what tool you use, you don't want to damage the threads. But basically you would peel this off, or you can just tear it off here. And then you would put the hard drive in this, okay? And after you do that, you would have it so where you can plug this connector back on and then get that in. All right, so the way they have this, it goes onto the plastic here. So you would put it so where the hard drive is this way, and then make sure the connector goes on the right direction. All right, so I'm just gonna put this piece back on just like that because we're not using this, and I'm gonna stick that back down. Let me make sure it all lines up back to the right place because we do want to be able to put that back in. So I'm gonna stick this piece back on there. This is kind of, I don't know, the tolerances of this are quite tight. It doesn't want to quite go in. Let's see, come on, camera. There we go. Okay, so it would go back like that, and we'll just stick this back down. Okay, and I'm gonna take it back out now. And again, there's adhesive under there. I think that's kind of annoying. I'm gonna make that adhesive a little less sticky. Anyways, we're gonna pull this out. So this is for a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive or SSD. It doesn't matter what size capacity. A lot of people ask me like, what's the max capacity they can put for the hard drives and stuff. You can put as big as you want, all right? If there's a 4 terabyte, 8 terabyte, whatever, as long as it fits within this, you should be okay. I think there's also a lot of space vertical in the case, so I think you can use thicker ones. But yeah, the normal size of this is about like 9.5 to 7.5 millimeter thick. So I don't know if it's too thick, like 12 millimeter. I don't know. it would probably fit, but don't hold me to that. All right. It looks like there's also a slot here for an M.2 SSD. I don't know if it's M.2 SATA or PCIe NVMe. Let me see. I have a PCIe NVMe SSD right here, and it looks like, yeah, so it's actually for an NVMe SSD. And you actually can fit longer or shorter ones. If you are using an SSD, keep in mind you won't be able to use this, right? You can see you can only use one or the other. So yeah, you can't fit an SSD and a SATA hard drive there. So you'll have to decide what you want to use. I would recommend putting an NVMe SSD. Also, you're going to need to use this. There's this little piece here. Okay, so this piece here, it slides in. I'm pretty sure it goes in this way, like this. So I don't want to click it in, but you would pull this all the way. All right, and then these little raised dimples will go underneath, and it will protrude up here, and then that's where the SSD will sit. So I'm not going to pull it all the way in, but let me kind of show you. When you get the SSD, then this will line up with that screw mount that's down there. Okay, so again, I don't want to pull that all the way out, so we're going to put this back, and this thing was just sitting right here. So it's kind of cool. They give you the option to put another SSD or a hard drive or 2.5-inch SATA SSD. So you have the choice what you want to put. I don't know if this supports SATA and PCIe NVMe SSDs. I'm assuming since it blocks the SATA port that you can probably put a M.2 SATA SSD, but I don't know why you would do that, because the NVMe ones now I think are cheaper, just because the SATA ones are harder to get a hold of because they don't make as many of them. Alright, so what else we got? We got this USB board here, which is probably going to be a pain to remove. I'm pretty sure they put adhesive under here. We're going to flip this latch up here and see if we can pull that cable. You can see we can't. Alright, but we're going to get this screw out. They switched it to a J0 or PH0 screw again. So we're going to undo that screw. It looks like they also hid some portion of it underneath the fan. So we're going to have to remove the fan to be able to remove this board, I think. Alright, most likely. Let's go ahead and at least undo these screws. Okay, very annoying, this design. Remove those two screws. I'm probably going to run out of desk space to put all this stuff, but we'll see. Alright, so we got those two fan screws. Can we lift the whole fan out now? Okay, we got the fan connector here. I'm going to use my fingernails at the wings of this connector and wiggle it, and it should slowly pop out as I keep wiggling and pulling. I'm using my knuckles to push down against the board to keep it from pulling up, and then we're kind of wiggling and pulling on this, and there we go. Yeah, because if you just yank straight up, it's going to put a lot of force pulling on the board, so you want to be careful and not do that. Alright, and I think there's actually another screw here. That's why it's not coming out. And of course they switch over to the PH1 or JS1 screw just to annoy you, make it more difficult. We'll get that screw out as well, and I think now we can lift this. Okay, you see we gotta lift this, and then you can kind of slide that underneath. Very annoying design, but there we go. And you can see all the hair and stuff that is in there. So even though we kind of blew it out with the electric air blower, because it was packed so tight from sitting so long and building up, actually you can't blow the dust through the fan propeller blades because the holes are too small. So there we go. And that's why usually when you blow air into it, you want to hold the propeller blades because you don't want it to blow the dust into it and then it like junks it up. Alright, so I'm gonna brush this off a little bit off to the side, and I'm going to use my handheld air blower thing to just get any remaining kind of dust out of that. Okay, so now this fan is a lot cleaner. We're going to set that aside. Alright, there's going to be a lot of components. Hopefully I'm going to have enough room to be able to show everything here. I need like a little handheld vacuum, I think, as well, because all this dust, I keep blowing it into my work area. It's kind of, I don't think it's good. Alright, so you can see all this dust here. I might have to take this outside and clean it out. There's also lots of little hairs. Okay. We'll clean this up a lot better when we get the whole board out as well. But, alright, for now, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to take this outside and then dust it out later, because that's a lot of dust there. Okay, let's go ahead and get the other fan out. But, well, actually, we got access now to this piece. So you can see we can carefully lift this. Be careful, again, this cable I'm pretty sure is held down with adhesive. So we're going to kind of work it slowly, carefully, and then kind of wiggle and pull this out. Oh, did they use adhesive on this too? That's super annoying. Why? Why? Okay, maybe I'm going to leave this attached because I don't want to try and pull this out and then damage the cable. So I'm going to flip that latch back down. But if you do need to get this out, you might have to put a little isopropyl alcohol and slowly work it underneath. I'm probably going to do that for this part. Alright. Very annoying design, but there we go. They just had to add that isopropyl alcohol in there. Alright, so we got the second fan here. We'll take that one out. I'm going to stack the two fans together just so I can know which is which. Alright, and they put this box here with the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD, and of course they switched over to the J0 or PH0 screw. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that out. Oh, that's going to be annoying. Let's see here. So I'm going to put these screws separate. Yeah, that's very annoying. Okay, and is this a J0? Why did... No, or 1. Okay, it's also 0. So they got these 3 screws here. So we're going to remove those 3. Okay, and then we got this other fan screw here. Alright, so we got those 4 screws out. That's going to be annoying. We're going to pull this metal plate up. There's a thermal pad attached to it, so make sure you don't get that mixed up. Alright, and now we should be able to remove this fan. Again, we have to lift we have to lift here because there's the raised plastic here. So we're going to lift it and we're going to wiggle this. Also, we got to remove this connector first. So I'm going to use my fingernails and just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle as I pull. And hopefully, there we go, it came out. We're going to carefully lift up this side. And we did raise this over past that raised point already. And we're going to carefully, there you go, get that out. And you can see there's a lot more dust balls in here as well. We're going to have to get that out as well. And we're going to brush that off as well. And then, yeah. So let me clean this up and then I'll be back because I need to take this outside to get all this dust out. I don't want to blow this all in my work area. All right. And we're going to clean the fan as well. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So cleaned out the fans a bit more. All right, set that fan aside. Gotta be careful. There's so many screws we gotta worry about here now. Got this other fan. All right, clean that up as well. All right, and we cleaned up all the little heat sinks here. Okay, on both sides. Okay, what's next? Oh, I need the little toothbrush. There's a little bit of stuff stuck here. Give me a second. I'll be back. I left it over there. Alright, I'm back. Okay, there we go. That dust thing came out. Okay, so we got all of that out. Also, if you want to see the RAM, it's underneath this little cover. A lot of people ask me, do I need to remove all that other stuff just to remove the RAM or just to remove the SSD? I mean, obviously, if you're looking at it, you can just remove this box to replace the RAM without even removing the fans, the keyboard, I mean, the battery. The RAM, I would recommend, because they have this metal box, you might still want to remove the battery and then press and hold the power button, just because there's a risk where, like, so let me show you how I open this. I'm holding the motherboard down here, or logic board, whatever you want to call it, and I'm getting underneath with my fingernail this metal box and pulling it up. Okay, and then we're going to go around to the outer edge here and pop this side, and here you can see the 2 slots for a RAM. Alright, the RAM comes out by pulling the 2 tabs to the side, just like every other model. And here you can see there's PC4 3200AA RAM, 8 gig stick. So 2 8 gig sticks, PC4 3200AA. You can use any PC4 3200AA RAM. No, you don't need a specific brand or anything. If it's PC4 3200AA, you should be fine. I don't know if it supports other speeds. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So yeah, if you want to get other RAM, PC4 3200AA, you should be fine. You can get whatever size, 16 gigs, 32 gigs, whatever. Shouldn't matter, it should support it. A lot of times websites will say there's a max capacity or whatever, and usually that's just the max that they sell the computer with. So don't take that as the max that the computer supports. Most of the time you can put higher capacities than what the max says for the websites. Give it a try. If you're not sure, make sure you buy the RAM and stuff from a website where you can actually return it. All right, like Amazon. If you live in another country, I'm not sure the return policies, so keep that in mind. All right, we got the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here, and it does use a PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver, so we're gonna use that and undo that screw, and then it pops up at an angle. We can go ahead and pull that out. All right, so there we go. We'll set that screw aside as well. All right, it's getting a lot of screws here, so hopefully I'm going to be able to remember all of them. There's the wireless card here. You got the black wire antenna going to the black arrow and the gray antenna going to the white arrow there. So keep that in mind. The antennas are nice and easy to get to. Sorry, I'm running out of desk space to show close-up of everything, but you can see the antenna wire goes here, goes underneath the motherboard. They put a little tail here, so you want to be careful. Honestly, this tail is unnecessary, and I feel it's there just so that you accidentally break the thing. though technically I guess it also helps pull the wire down. And then the wireless antenna, there's one here. It's this copper thing with this little board, and then you got the other antenna here, this copper thing with the board as well. Okay, you can see how this wireless, the keyboard cable is, and I feel like this is why it ends up breaking. They fold it all here and then they smash it with the battery. And then not only that, but so here's the keyboard backlight cable. That's actually going underneath the motherboard, so that's annoying. That means I'm going to have to worry about connecting this backlight cable underneath the motherboard before I even put that in. And then you got the keyboard cable just coming down here, going around, and then here. So we're going to flip this latch. I don't know why they didn't make the keyboard cable over here and then just have a small cable that goes there. But I guess it's because they wanted to use the same keyboard for multiple models, as you can see. GY530, GY750, GY550. So they have different folding spots for different models. Alright, anyways, I flipped that latch up. We can pull this cable out. There's adhesive holding it on, so we're going to carefully peel this. Alright. And we can fold that out. Alright, we're going to peel this off as well, separate it from the, alright, I need to put this down. Hopefully you can still see. I'm going to hold this cable down and peel the adhesive away there, because when we lift the motherboard up, we're going to have to be very careful with that. Alright, so wireless antenna, sorry. Let's zoom in here if we can. I got one screw all the way over here. There's too many screws, alright, that I'm going to, hopefully I can show you guys and keep track of all of them, but we're going to pull up from the tail of the antenna to pull it out, just like that. Same thing over here, just pull straight up from the tail and it pops out. If you don't need to remove the antennas, be careful, because sometimes the solder for these are bad, and I've had like at least one laptop where that little connector just pulled straight off the board and then got stuck inside the antenna, and that really sucks, because then it's really hard to get that out, and then once you get that out, you're going to have to also replace the thing, because it's usually that piece is going to get damaged and you won't be able to solder it back. Alright, so usually they're soldered well, but there's some rare cases where the solder's bad, so usually when I work on computers I try and avoid taking things out unless I need to. Alright, so we got these wires here, black and gray. We're going to go ahead and pull them up out of this little rubber guide, and then we're going to slide it over to the left to get out from this area, that little hook. Let me zoom out here. I'm not going to be able to zoom in as much anymore because we're going to have to be pulling all this out, but we can pull the wireless antenna out from here, and we don't need to take it out completely because all we need to do is get out this part where the keyboard is later. Alright, so we got the speaker connection here. I'm going to use my fingernails at the wings, and then I'm going to just wiggle side to side to pull it out. If you're replacing the speakers, make sure you plug it in the same way. You can see the solid plastic here. They put a dot on it so you know which sides face up, but if you buy a replacement one, it might not have that dot. You can see these exposed metal pins for this part of the connector. You want that face down for this model. Alright, so we're going to get that out. You can see the wire goes into the speaker here. You want to be careful because the speaker cone or whatever is here. You don't want to push on that and break it. But the wire goes to the speaker there, and then there's a wire going from that speaker all the way to the other side to this speaker. Okay, and they're not held in with screws, they're just rubber mounts, so you can pull that out. Just be careful not to damage them. Alright, so what else do we got? Wireless card I'm going to leave in there since I don't need to pull that off the board. Technically, well, I guess I did have to take out the SSD to remove the wireless antennas. But yeah, alright, so we're going to leave the wireless card in there. It comes out the same way as the SSD. Remove the screw, it pops up slightly, and you can pull it out. We do have the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here underneath the touchpad trackpad cable. We're going to flip this latch up to disconnect the touchpad cable, and judging by the rest, it's probably held in with adhesive. That's annoying. Alright, so since there's adhesive there, I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol to lift it up. Hopefully we can get underneath. Alright, so just put a little drop, and we're going to try and work this little tool underneath, okay, to get that cable out. Alright, so kind of get this underneath and push under to get the adhesive removed from here, okay. You can see it slowly coming up. You don't want to try and force the cable up because you don't want to damage this cable, so we're just slowly working our way underneath with the isopropyl alcohol. Okay, now that we got that side up, we're going to go on this side, and there we go. We can now hopefully wiggle and pull this up. There we go. All right. Very annoying that they put adhesive there. Okay, but there we go. And also the CMOS battery, depending what you want to do, since the CMOS battery is attached to this metal plate that we're going to have to take out, I'm actually going to remove it from this side. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol underneath this battery as well. Okay. And we're going to slowly work our way under the battery, and hopefully we can lift the battery up and off this piece. Okay. If you're wondering, the battery, does it have a model number here? CR 2016, I think. All right. And this piece is not wanting to come off. So, yeah, I think they use usually they use a foam pad here. So, I don't know if it's going to come out or not. We'll see. Come on. Trying to work our way underneath. Yeah, it's being a pain. Let's try and get a little more isopropyl alcohol under there. Okay, and then we'll push it under some more. Trying to get this battery lifted off with the adhesive. Come on. It doesn't seem to want to come up. Okay, it's slowly peeling. I feel it. Slowly working the adhesive, or the isopropyl alcohol underneath. And there we go. Alright. Oh, look at that goopy. Okay, so it came up, and you can see it's like a whole circle here. So, oh, that adhesive kind of tore a little bit. Alright. Once the isopropyl alcohol evaporates, it will stick back down. So, yeah. Alright. Let's go ahead now and move that out of the way. But yeah, there's the thing. You can see there was like a foam pad, like that black foam that was stuck to it as well. So hopefully once it dries, we'll be able to just stick it back down. Okay, it looks like we are going to have to remove that metal thing for the extra SSD. Okay, so we're going to have to remove that and just take that out of the way, because it's going to, when we move this, pull this metal plate that's covering the keyboard out, it's going to be in the way. Okay, and again, we are going to have to get that up as well. So let's see here. We're going to lift this. Oops. Pull that up out of the way. Sorry, I wasn't showing it in camera. But now we're going to get some isopropyl alcohol under here as well. Just a little bit, and slowly work our way under here. So, okay, and it's going to be annoying getting this stuff up because adhesive is very annoying. I don't know why they do this, or maybe I do know why. It's because they don't want people to work on their things, but it's very annoying. All right, so we're slowly working it, and it slowly peels itself. Don't try and force it up. Just get the isopropyl alcohol in there and just slowly work the alcohol in. I'm not actually like trying to pry it up with this. I'm just slowly moving this side to side so the alcohol can work its way under. All right, we're going to put a little more, and we're going to slowly, and there you go. It popped up on its own. All right, so if you want, you can flip that over on itself there. Oh, it looks like they might have got some liquid in here at some point. See that? Oh no, you can see, there you go. You can see that kind of like corrosion on there. Interesting. All right, there's also dust in here. Ooh. So we're gonna dust this off. All right, there's a little button here as well. That's the one key recovery button. There's a little hole that if you use a needle or a folded out paper clip or a pin, you can press that little button through the hole there, and that will allow you to do like the temporary boot options or one key recovery and other stuff. Okay, let's see here. What else do we got? There's a little cable here which seems like it's going to be a pain to remove. Hopefully they're not hiding screws underneath the heatsink. That is like, if they do that, that's like a nightmare, because then you got to redo all the thermal paste just to get that out. So I hope that's not the case. We're going to go ahead and remove these screws. Okay. Alright, this is very annoying. There's 2 screws here holding this metal plate in place, or the bracket. Alright, now that we got that, we can set this aside. Oh, there's a lot of dust caught under there for some reason. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to flip this latch up and pull this out. Be very careful. We can get under and pull that. Luckily, there's no adhesive holding that. I don't know what that little thing is for. I guess we'll find out once we lift the whole thing up. I do see a little board under there. Interesting. What's that? Fingerprint sensor board or something? I don't know what that is. It doesn't look like the power button. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue removing screws. You can see there's 1 screw here, and then there's 2 screws here, and then there's a hidden screw underneath this Lenovo sticker, which this is like a tamper sticker. Usually it's just going to tear. There's like almost no way to save this sticker, so we're just going to tear that off. Okay, let's see, there's no way to like remove it without leaving behind some residue, because they make it super brittle that it just crumbles and tears. But I'm going to try and get out as much as I can, because I don't like leaving that junk there. If I can take it out. Okay, I'm going to switch over to a flathead screwdriver just to scrape at it. And the screw head's going to get scraped a little, usually. Okay, but we'll try and get out as much as possible. Okay. Put that stuff away and blow the residue out. Okay, get that out. We're going to continue using the PH1 or J1 screwdriver. Actually, okay, they switched all of those to J0. Okay, so we removed those to get this. On this metal bracket, they actually have arrows showing you where the screws came from, and then there's an X here so you don't accidentally put a screw in there. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and remove all these screws again using the J0 or PH0 screwdriver. It's very annoying that Lenovo decided to do that, switch between the J0s and J1 screwdriver. I don't know why they did that. It's very annoying. Alright, maybe that's why they did it, to be annoying. Alright, we're going to remove these 2 as well. Oh no, we are going to have to take the heatsink out. They put the LCD LVDS connector under there. I hate this laptop. Alright, we got this screw here as well. I didn't charge enough for this repair job. So we got that, then we got this. Okay, so we got that. I'm gonna have to remember to put a screw over here. So I'm gonna actually put a little mark there just so I know. Okay, I like to put a mark there just so I know. Okay, what else we got? Yeah, we're gonna have to take the whole heatsink out, which really sucks. It is what it is, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be using the PH0 or J0, or sorry, PH1 or J1 screwdriver for this. And we're going to undo it in the order it says. 1, you don't have to undo it in that order actually. I'm just going to do it in that order. 2, okay, and I'm going to wait to do that. I'm not tightening it all the way. So 3, the reason why I'm not undoing it all the way is because it's putting stress on both of these at the same time. So 4, 5, 6. Alright, so 2 and 6, you want to kind of not completely undo the second one right away, but there we go. Okay, and then to remove this, you want to actually be careful, because sometimes the paste is on there so solid that you can't just lift straight up. So what I do is I kind of like twist this a little. You can see it's kind of wobbling, and then we can lift. Since there's this tape thing here, you can either peel this off carefully, or you can pull this box out with it. But there we go. We're gonna peel this out of the way, and then let's see if we can lift this. You want to be careful because these pipes and these fins are very fragile. So I'm gonna lift from this corner very carefully, and there we go. All right, so I guess I'm gonna have to redo their thermal paste as well, which sucks. I didn't want to have to do that. Oh, and it looks like a piece of their thermal pad here kind of separated. That's dumb. All right, so we're gonna have to carefully scrape this up and see if I can transfer that over. Okay, so we're gonna try and scrape this up. Okay, because these pads get reused. So scrape that out and flip that back over there and stick that back in place. Okay, just like that. Alright, so we got the thermal pad back there, and then we're gonna have to scrape all this thermal paste out because we're gonna have to put new thermal paste. So let me move this out of the way. We're gonna scrape this up real quick. So just like this. We're gonna have to put new paste. Anytime you separate the CPU or the heatsink and the anytime you pull up the heatsink, you want to redo the thermal paste because it's not gonna get a good solid gap-free, I don't know what you want to call it, setting, I don't know. Right, so we're gonna get this stuff out, and it's kind of interesting because this stuff is kind of solidified. Normally it's a paste, but it's turned more like a kind of goop. All right, and we're gonna get this out as well. So I guess their laptop is gonna cool a lot better. The only thing with this is if there's anything wrong with the keyboard installation, you're gonna have to do all of this again. All right, so this side you can see it turn more crumbly. Maybe I should zoom out more or zoom in more so you can see it better. Okay, we're gonna scrape this off. Normally I do this over a trash can, like I hold it upside down over a trash can, so when we scrape this it just falls into the trash. But I kind of want to show you guys. All right, so we're just gonna scrape all of this out. And then we're gonna have to clean this with isopropyl alcohol and paper towels. Okay, so we got all of that scraped up. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over the trash can and dump it out. All right, so I'm not gonna stop the recording because that's gonna be extra time trying to find the pause button, but all right, let me just scrape this stuff off into the trash and then I'll be back. Alright, so there you go. We got all of that scraped off. Okay, again, now we're going to use some isopropyl alcohol to clean that up. So I have it in this little squeezy bottle for extra accuracy, and we're just going to pour isopropyl alcohol all on there and get it all on here. Okay, and we're going to let it sit a bit just so it can kind of dissolve the isopropyl, dissolve the stuff. And now I'm going to do this one, but this one I'm going to actually have to hold this over the trash can because there's all these little components around it. But basically we're just going to scrape all that stuff out as well and be very careful not to damage these little components here. Same thing with the CPU here. Alright, so I'm going to clean that all up and then I'll be back. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I probably need to add more isopropyl alcohol to this. Okay, oh, it's still watery. Okay, let's go ahead and clean that up, and then I'm going to show you the other portion, which is driving me insane because they always put way too much thermal paste, and in this one, well, you'll see in a bit. Alright, let's clean this up. You want to be careful not to push too hard. You don't want to bend the pipes here. Okay, so we're just gonna clean that up. All right, there you go. Look at all that paste that came out. Clean this up as well. Switch to a clean spot and continue. Right. Right, you can see there. I'm gonna flip this over again. Put a little more isopropyl alcohol on it. Alright, and clean this up some more. And then we're gonna set this aside. Okay, dry this up some more. Alright, so there we go. That's about as good as we're gonna get it. Okay, we'll set that aside. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the thing that's driving me insane. Alright, so I'm gonna zoom in here. See all these little raised bump thingies? So we're gonna clean all this out. Okay, so we gotta get in between each one of these little thingies and scrape that up. And you wanna be careful because these things can be fragile. You don't wanna use too much force and then end up ripping those things off. Okay, so we're getting in between each one carefully, cleaning in between each one. Okay, see that? Alright, then once we hopefully get it good enough, I'm gonna try and brush it up. Brush it up. And it's not all gonna come out. There's still more gunk there. Okay. Technically, you don't need to get this all completely out, but I hate when they just overflow the thermal paste all over and get all of that stuff in there. Okay. And we can't really just clean that out with paper towel and isopropyl alcohol either. Okay. So there we go. About as good as we're gonna get it. Okay, get that all cleaned up. All right, and it's a good thing I don't think they use conductive like silver paste or anything, because if they did, then that's gonna be very bad. All right, because then now you got conductive stuff all over inside your computer. See all this, like how they get that? I mean, I would assume if they use conductive paste and it went in all these little pieces, then you're gonna have some major problems, because you don't solder the entire thing down, you only solder the ends. So try and get all of that paste out from there. See that? Scrap all this stuff. It's like I'm doing dentistry right now. Scraping in between all the little teeth grooves. Okay. Go. Gotta be very delicate. With a dentist, I don't know, I feel like they just scrape at it like really hard. But with this, you gotta be very careful because you don't want to nick off little pieces here. As much as I want to just like scrape it all out. Okay. Hopefully that's good. Okay. I'm gonna blow this out. Give me a second. I'm gonna put this over the trash can so I don't just throw it all over here. I'll be back. All right, there we go. So cleaned off what I could and then brushed it up. Now we're going to use the isopropyl alcohol paper towel and clean that off a little bit. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with this one. Just cleaning the die because that's the part that's going to need the thermal paste on it. Okay, I'm going to put some more isopropyl alcohol on the paper towel. Alright, I'm actually putting it on the paper towel, not on the thing here because I don't want too much to flow everywhere. Dry it off, and look at that, shinier. You can still see a bunch of streaking on it, but is what it is. All right. I don't think it's possible to get it like perfectly clean, but we'll just get what we can. All right. So glue the dust away from there and there. Okay. I'm gonna try with another clean piece of paper towel to see if I can get it a little bit better. We'll see. Okay, get some isopropyl alcohol in there, and clean that. Okay, you can see even though I'm cleaning like side to side or up and down, it's leaving like diagonal streaks. So that's not from the isopropyl alcohol. That's from, I don't know. All right, so that's as good as we're gonna get it. And let's go ahead and zoom out and continue removing this stuff. Okay, so underneath the heatsink, just in case you wanted to try and pull it up anyways, there's a screw hidden there. So if you just tried to force it up, you would have ripped and destroyed your LCD LVDS connector, and you would have destroyed whatever this screw is holding. So I'm gonna switch back over to the 0. You know what, Lenovo? I hate you. All right, so we took that screw out, and you can actually see there's a little arrow pointing to it, but for my use, I'm gonna put a little black line as well because that's better than the little arrow for me. All right, what else do we got? We got the LCD LVDS connector. We're gonna flip that latch, and obviously, of course, they're gonna put some more adhesive there. So we're gonna have to, again, carefully get underneath here and peel that up. And so we're gonna put some isopropyl alcohol again, and in this case we have to peel this whole frame out. So let's go ahead and flood this thing with isopropyl alcohol and then lift up this whole thing. All right, obviously Lenovo had to be really annoying about this. Oops, sorry, I'm not even in view of the camera. There we go. So we're gonna carefully peel up all of this because Lenovo decided to be an ASS. All right, so let's go ahead and get that and get some more isopropyl alcohol under there. All right, okay, and we got that, and now we're gonna carefully get this out, and yeah, so now we got that separated. Okay, please be all I need to remove. Okay, they're hiding another screw down here. Another screw. Oh, you can't even see it. Zoom out some more. Hopefully this didn't stick back down. Peel that back up slowly, carefully. Okay. Flip that over there. They got another screw down here. And is that a PH1? Yes, they decided to change the screw to that. So get that, set that aside, and I'm gonna need my marker to mark this. And of course my thing decided to stop recording, or I don't know if it did. It stop recording? What is going on? All right, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. For some reason it just froze the video. Anyways, we took this one screw out here. Okay, and then we set that aside, and I think we got all the screws out now that we can lift the board off. So let's see. We gotta be careful here with this cable. Slowly, carefully lift it up. Right, again, we do have the keyboard backlight connector here. So we're gonna carefully flip this board. All right, and here's the connector. I'm gonna flip that latch up and pull that out. And now we can move this motherboard aside. All right. Be very careful with this. We do have the CMOS battery and then this daughter board here attached. Alright, so I'm gonna have to set this aside. Let's see here. I gotta get this on a what do you call ESD bag, so it doesn't risk getting damage from static or anything. Okay, so let me set the motherboard aside. Sorry, I know I'm not doing anything in camera, but there we go. Okay. So now we have this whole thing here. You can see the keyboard is trapped underneath this metal frame. And if you look at the replacement keyboard, this is what it looks like, okay? So the keyboard is like that, and it's trapped underneath this whole metal thing that's held in with all this melted plastic. This is going to be a huge pain in the butt to remove. I don't know. We'll see if it's even going to be possible. We're going to peel this away here and see. We do want to also check. Oh, I think we have to remove the whole hinge screen assembly as well. So, oh god. Okay. Let me first take a look at the screen, or sorry, not the screen, the keyboard, and see if everything lines up. See, all right, looks exactly the same here. Okay. My worry is if anything is wrong with this keyboard, we're gonna be screwed. That's a lot of work to remove this thing. I would highly recommend finding this entire keyboard palm rest assembly and see if you can get that. All right. What we're going to have to do here. Let's see. This seems to be, I don't know if this piece comes off separately. What is going on here? The top layer might come off separately, actually. Oh, this is going to be terrible. Alright, we're still using the PH1 or JSJ1 screwdriver. We're going to remove the 2 screws here. Actually 3. Okay, so it looks like there's 2 silver and 1 black one there. Wow, that's going to be... Okay. Again, keep all the screws in order. So I got that one, this one, and this one. And it looks like then this plastic layer is going to come off. Okay. And then this side also has 3 screws. Okay, that one. This one. It looks like the black screws hold the plastic in place. Okay. And this one. Does this come out at all? No? Okay, so this black plastic piece is now kind of wobbling. You can see that it's kind of separating there. So are we gonna have to pull that out separate? It looks like the screws for the hinges are on the other side. So we're gonna flip this over. This really is making me not want to do this repair. This seems like, I don't know if it's gonna be doable. Let's see, is this gonna even separate here? How is this held in place? Does it? Oh, okay. So this slides back. I pulled on it. I'm assuming this side too. Yep. All right. You can actually see a little hook down here. So you slide this, and then we can now hopefully get this out. Oh man. There's a giant screw here. Okay, so this is for the power button. It does say PWR. We're gonna flip this over. Jeez. Who designed this? Why? Okay, so we're sliding this out. There you go. So the whole thing you have to slide completely. You can see all these little hooks here. All right, this is pretty gross. I definitely way underquoted on this. This is way too much work. Okay, I'm trying to brush some of this gunk off this piece. I'm glad the customer didn't call to ask if it was ready yet, because I did tell them 24 hours and it's already been over 24 hours that I started since I got the laptop to work on. We're going to set that piece aside. Alright, and here you can see a bunch more screws under here. So there's some screws here holding the little hinge cover, it looks like. Oh shoot, okay, we gotta be extra careful now, carefully opening this. It feels very flimsy now without all that extra stuff. Alright, so how is this gonna separate? Okay, so this cable is gonna come out there. Okay. So we got one screw on either side for the hinge, and then we got these two little screws for the little hinge covers. The hinge covers are being held in place with J0. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove those. Oh my goodness. This is the... Okay, can we pop this off easily, or... I don't know. I don't know about that. We gotta carefully open this up again. How does this pop off? It's super wobbly. Maybe we leave that attached? I don't know. Does that stay attached? I mean, it just goes into the hinge, I think. So let's actually try one side. We undid that, and this side we're going to just leave it. So we're going to undo the hinge screws here. So there's one on either side. Okay. Oops, sorry if I went out of view, but we took out that screw there. We're going to take out this one now. Let's see if we can take out the hinge without removing those little screws. Most likely, yep, we can. Okay, so I'm going to put the tiny screws back there, because we don't need to remove those. Okay, these are just to hold this little plastic hinge cover in place, cosmetic piece. Alright, we're going to carefully flip this over, and we're going to lift the screen away from the hinge now. Okay, or sorry, the keyboard assembly from the hinge. You can see we can get this. And we're going to thread this through carefully, slowly. Be very careful not to damage this cable. You got to kind of work the angles to get this through so that you don't damage it. Okay, get that cable all the way through there. Alright, and there you have the screen assembly. Alright, I'm sure if you wanted to, you can pry the screen out, but the screen doesn't have any issues, so I'm not going to risk pulling that out and then end up damaging the screen, so I'm going to leave that as is. And here we have the keyboard assembly. Okay, power button's in the middle there. We are going to have to peel up this black plastic piece, which is most likely going to result in some of the plastic being torn, but we'll see. We'll pull it slowly and try and keep it intact. They make these little circle things that are designed to be torn, so most likely peeling this up, you're going to end up tearing those little circles, but we're going to try and avoid that, hopefully. Okay, we're going to get under here, carefully peeling this, slowly. Okay. Alright, so we're going to continue working our way slowly down. Anywhere you see a sharp, like, cut, there's some risk that you're going to tear it. Luckily, these little holes, they didn't put tape or adhesive to hold that down. But we're going to slowly, oh, this one's kind of stuck. Slowly peel this. There we go. Oh, there's another layer of plasticky stuff there. Okay, so here you can see this circle they held down with adhesive, so I gotta kind of get underneath the part that's peeling up, but okay, I don't think we tore any of it yet. And we're gonna try and peel that circle. Okay, there you go. Yeah, they designed this thing to be destroyed. Slowly, carefully peel. Slowly. Okay, we're actually peeling the second layer here, which we want to separate. So I'm going to try and separate these two layers here, if possible. It's definitely going to get creases if it's not going to tear. if anything. Alright, so we're slowly going to peel this and separate the two layers. We got to carefully, slowly peel this. This one is definitely held down with adhesive, so we got to get underneath. And, oh, not adhesive, I guess it was just stuck on something. It was just caught. And we're going to slowly peel this while pushing down the other layer. Jeez. Did they really have to make this as impossible as possible? This is the worst keyboard replacement design ever. Okay. It's like they made it as terrible as possible. Slowly continue peeling. There's another circle here that is designed to tear off. So we're going to try and grab these circle layers and hopefully peel that. And I don't know if some of it tore, but it is what it is. There's not really any other way around that. Jeez, are you kidding me? Come on, Lenovo. What is this nonsense? Okay, this little circle keeps wanting to stick back down. Continue working our way up here. Are you kidding me? Like, what is this design? Why? Okay. And we're gonna work our way down this way because Lenovo is a piece of booty. Okay, continue peeling this. Working it slowly all the way down. Alright, and okay, so we got this piece off. Hopefully I remembered to put all this back. Okay, are they hiding melted plastic under here as well? Do we gotta peel this off? Oh no, they have that graphene layer here. Are they really, like, I don't know if there's, I'm pretty sure there's melted plastic underneath this graphene layer as well. You can see there's like a sharp bump there when I kind of rolled my finger on it. Again, this thing is gonna sit like this. So you can see there's all these little dots here where there's going to be melted plastic under there. So I don't know how it's going to even be possible to peel this up. That's where the power button is. We're definitely going to have to remove that. Let's switch to the J1 or JIS-PH1, whatever you want to call it. Am I even going to remember where all these screws go? Holy moly. One, and hopefully, okay, there's a little clip here, so we gotta lift from this side, I think, and then we gotta slide it over. So lift from this side, and then there's a clip there holding it, so you gotta carefully lift and pull it over. There we go, and there's the power button. All right. Freaking Lenovo, are you kidding me? I don't know if we can peel this up without destroying that graphene layer. I don't even know if it's going to be possible to remove this. Okay, we're just going to slowly peel it, and it's separating two layers, so I don't know. You see it's separating this from that? Honestly, is this thermal layer even needed? Is it just there to mess you up? Slowly peeling. Like, the layers are definitely not even going to be attached. Okay, slowly peeling this. Oh my goodness, this was a bad idea. I should not have accepted this job. Okay, you can see the plastic layers under there. Okay. Oh my god. I don't even know how I'm going to separate the metal layer from the plastic here. Honestly, this is now, like, if I had to do this and I knew what was going on, I'd be like, $400 and I'm not even doing it. This is not worth the time and effort that is going into this. Like, Lenovo really designed this to be thrown in the garbage. Okay. How are we gonna get this side up? Come on. Uh-oh. I don't know how I'm gonna get that side out. This is terrible. Okay, this layer is probably gonna end up just shredding itself. How do we get this off? Ow. Like, what? Can this side be? Okay, this side I can lift. And then you get to this sharp point, which is going to cause some problems. Oh, actually it peeled itself up. Good. Okay. Slowly working our way down to these crazy corners. I'm going to use this to try and help. Let's see. There we go. Slowly peeling. We're almost there. Come on. And this is just peeling off the stuff. Then we got to get all these melted plastic bits. Somebody needs to sue Lenovo for this kind of stupid stuff. Okay. Okay, we're almost there. Oh my god. Alright. There we go. Alright, we got all this graphene or whatever this stuff is, graphite, graphene, whatever layer off. Okay, I don't even know how I'm gonna cleanly put this back down, but basically I think that lined up there, and then we have all those. Okay, how am I going to cleanly put this back? I don't know. All right, I'm considering taking this cable out. Maybe I should just tape it here temporarily. Okay, me. Oh god. I'm going to tape this here with this tape. Oh, sorry, you can't even see. I taped that down so that way I can take it out easier later. Oh god. This laptop's killing me, man. Alright, so how am I even going to know where all these little dots of plastic go? Let's see. Are there hiding any little bits here? No? Okay. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to mark each little bit with an arrow, but that's insane. That's going to take forever. What can I do here? I need a way to mark this so I know where the dots go. There's too many. This is like impossible, you guys. I don't know about this one. Is there even an easy way to get these things out? Usually, I'm probably gonna end up using the razor blade and just cutting them. So we'd go in here, and then we gotta be careful not to slice our fingers open. I don't know if there's an easier way to kind of get these out. Okay, so that. But how am I gonna mark each one? It's not cutting off completely either. This is going to be insane. A drill would work best, probably. How would anyone replace the keyboard on this thing? It's like not feasible. You see that? It's like I'm gonna have to use the drill method, I'm sure, because I don't see any other way that this will be possible. This is like, yeah. And then I'm gonna have to just figure out where to put melted plastic back, because I don't know here. I don't know. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's like uncountable amount of little dots here. And then I'm gonna have to melt new plastic back there. So I'm gonna get a drill and then I'll see if I can drill each one, like the plastic out, and then just hopefully we can use that and then do it. All right, so I'll be back. All right, let's see if we can drill out the melted plastic pieces. I don't know. It's gonna be a pain because it's hard to guide it to the right spots. Yeah, I don't know about this. Okay, it works. I just gotta make sure to hold it in the right spot for a while. Yeah, there's a pain. I gotta make sure I don't. That's tough. I don't know about this. If I'm gonna drill all of these, that's gonna take like 5 hours. This one's still not out. There we go. That's gonna take forever. I don't know if this one even came out far enough. Yeah, that's gonna take forever. I need like a drill press or something to keep the drill in the right spot. Keeps wanting to go all over the place. Is it coming out to where I can even separate this? Let's see. I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay, it's definitely letting me lift this. What about this one? Okay, I think it's working. How I'm gonna know where to put all the melted plastic is gonna also be a problem. Yeah, I don't know. Nobody's gonna attempt this after seeing this video. Nobody's gonna want to attempt this after seeing this. How much goes into this? Oh my goodness, this is... I don't know about this, guys. Okay. So... Alright, we're gonna have to just drill like 100 something more. I don't know, 200, 300 of these. I didn't know it was in for all this. Maybe I'm just gonna drill each one out and then we'll see if hopefully we can just pull it up after. I don't know. Let's see how some of it's kind of just... Some of it's easier because they have like a little hole where it melted. And some of them are more difficult. Why did I take up this job? It would make more sense. Just use a USB keyboard at this point. I'm just gonna quickly like drill each one and then probably gonna use the air blower to just blow all this broken plastic stuff away, and hopefully the slight drilling is enough that I'll be able to pull the metal plate off. You can see some of them, they come out pretty easily. And then we're gonna have to figure out where to fill the plastic back on each of these. I have a 3D printer pen to help with that. We'll see if that will work. At least these, I can hear like it start cracking when it cuts into it. Some of them aren't quite. I don't know about this. So I have these foam pads that are taped on that I'm probably gonna have to peel up or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. A lot of these, I don't think I can even fill it back up with melted plastic. The holes are too small. It's not going to be possible. I don't know. We'll see. Bad. This is terrible. I already took everything out. There's no going back. Can't even tell what I missed at this point. Oh, some of these they just rip off. I think most of the keyboard ones, they're so thin I can just rip them off by hand. I hope the keyboard will stay in place though. Why does this feel like it's already separated? Okay, let me clean this up outside real quick first, and then see what I have left. All right, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. This pain in the butt laptop. Okay, again, a lot of these towards the middle, you can just pop them out. I'm considering just grabbing this metal plate and just pulling it up. You can see it's kind of coming up already. I pulled some of it up earlier when I was cleaning it, but some of it sticks down kind of hard here. Oh, there you go. You can see we can kind of peel this up, and then I guess the keyboard and this needs to be peeled off. It's sticking to it. I mean, this cable's gonna end up just being torn. Imagine doing all of this and the keyboard still has issues. That's gonna be the worst thing in the world. Oh man. Okay, they do have some hidden under here as well. Okay. And we gotta be careful not to nick the touchpad. There has to be a better tool for doing this. I mean, my fingernails can pull up the outer edge on most of them, so not too bad. I was considering just pulling the entire thing up, but then if you bend this, it's going to be a huge pain as well. But you can see most of it's kind of coming up. And yeah, no, I don't want to. Uh-oh, did I accidentally kind of bend it a little there? Okay. Only all of it was like super thick metal at least, so you can kind of just pry it up, but it's too risky. Some of these, oh no, it's not. Okay, like this one. These small ones break off too easily, which kind of worries me because I don't know how you'll put anything back in there to hold it. I don't think you can put anything back in there to hold it, so let's see. Nope, that one won't break. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to drill all of these out. Yeah, these are super thick plastic pieces. Nope, okay. Jeez. ones are super thick. So much work, man. I'm gonna have to clean this off and then just rip the whole thing up pretty soon. Okay. I'm gonna clean this up, see if I can pull off the rest of the plastic. I'll be back again. See you guys in a bit. Alright, let's see if we can pull this thing up now. Alright. This thing's so difficult, so much of a pain to work on. Yeah. I don't think I'd work on this even for $400 in the future. Alright, so we got this out. we're gonna carefully pull this up. Definitely would be better if you can find the entire keyboard palm rest assembly. So here's the metal piece that we're gonna have to end up putting back afterwards. Alright, here's the keyboard. I don't know if we're gonna be able to... Okay, so you can see we can pull this keyboard up. I feel like this is gonna have to be a two-part where I'm gonna use JB Weld to hold the keyboard in place, because I feel that trying to melt plastic into these little holes isn't gonna cut it. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna use a combination. I'm gonna use JB Weld, and so I'm basically pushing the keyboard through. We're gonna end up with broken plastic bits everywhere, okay? But basically push the keyboard through here, okay? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to use the JB Weld method to hold this back in place. Okay, so push this all through, and it's gonna be very important to clean up. Oh, I almost got one shot into my eyeball. Be very careful with this. So I'm gonna actually take this outside and I'm gonna just pull the whole thing off or push it through, but I don't want these little black things all over in my work area, so let me do that and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back, and I noticed there's liquid spill residue all down here. So like I thought, I think like the control function, alt, whatever keys over here were being pressed. Actually, that's the enter key, huh? This is the number pad area, so interesting. I don't know, but I guess they spilled something on it at one point, and that's why it wasn't working. So I'm gonna get a piece of paper towel with some water on it, and I'm gonna try and clean that stuff off. Okay, just so in the future it doesn't leave some sticky residue. I already kind of brushed through the entire thing to kind of clean off most of the dust and things that were on it. Alright. Okay. Ew, that's gross. Look at that. It's brown. Maybe like Coke or something. Okay. So we got that all cleaned up. We're going to flip this over. This side is also pretty gross. Let's get another piece of paper with some water on it. Okay. And I'm going to get a little water on it. You don't want to get too much, and we're just going to kind of wipe this up. Okay. The touchpad's also kind of gross, but I don't know. Can't really do too much about that. I don't want to get too much like water or anything in there and then end up damaging it. We're just going to clean the outside a bit. Okay. Most likely going to need... Ugh, look at that. It's gross. Flip it over. Get a little more water on there. Okay, clean that up. Kind of want to clean out this touchpad, but you gotta be careful here. Alright, I'm gonna try and scrape out the gunk from the touchpad here, the edge. Try and hold that up in place. Ugh. Be careful, I got screws everywhere here that I don't want to accidentally mix up. Okay. Pretty clean now. Not 100% perfect, but better. Alright. Clean that. That gunk is up there, but try and scrape that off. Okay. Sorry Sorry, it's all gross here, and I'm just trying to clean it all off. Okay, there we go. So, new keyboard. We do need to take note of the old keyboard, but we're gonna drop the new one in. Okay, let's see if we can some of it kind of clicked into place. I don't know if we can, oh, maybe we could just melt it back in. At least some of it. Some of these little pieces are raised a little bit above here, so we can kind of melt it back in. Yeah, some of these posts kind of melted a little bit higher to where I can actually melt them back in. So give me a second. We got a 3D printer pen here. I don't know if I'm going to need the filament for this. We might just need to heat it up, and then we should be okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and try heating this. And we don't need to extrude any filament, I don't think. We're just gonna try and melt the thing into place to hold these keys where we want them. Oh, we're already getting all this gunk in it after cleaning it up. So this is what the keyboard looks like, and we're gonna have to push it all into place. Oh, there's still gross gunk in there that we should clean off before we put this back together. Okay, trying to clean it up a bit so that gunk doesn't go back in the keyboard. All right, well, it's not perfect, but it's much better than it was before. Okay, so let's get this back in. Okay, and then, oh, it turned itself off. Did it get too hot already? What happened? Why did it stop? Come on. Is this thing too picky? I didn't like it. It's not even hot. Let me get another USB thing and see if that will work better. I'll be back. Alright, I'm using another USB power bank. We'll see if this one will stay heated so I can use it. The other one for some reason turned off. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is I have to keep this pushed inwards. And let me actually get a little bit of filament so I can try and fill it up. Okay. I'm gonna see if we can melt some new stuff into here. Okay. Okay, so it's heating up right now. I'm going to change it to the hotter setting because I'm using PETG. And basically, we're going to try and push this against the frame as much as possible. And then we're going to... Oh, was there already some filament in this thing? Interesting. Okay, we're going to just try and melt that and then get that to hold it in place, and it looks like it's working, so let me push a little more filament out. Okay, I gotta be very careful with all the little cables down there. I want to add a little filament if I can. But basically, we're just gonna melt that down and push. Okay. All right, so we're basically just gonna do this to every single little hole here. And I'm going to try and push a little bit more filament. Why is no filament coming out? I'm going to use the slower setting now. Oops. Okay. Because I don't want too much filament to be extruded. Oh, it's pushing out way too much. Okay. I'm going to have to use something to wipe away the excess so I don't burn myself. Because we only want a tiny bit extruded into each. See this making too many strings here? Oh, oops. I did not mean to put more. So I need to make sure that we don't over extrude. Okay. And we're going to hold that. Put a tiny bit. And we're going to just try and melt it to mix it with the plastic that's already there. Okay, this one's already sticking up, so we can just kind of melt it down. There we go. Alright, and I think this is going to work. So we just got to keep adding filament to this. Careful where it's overflowing. Okay. Oh no, stop. Whoops. How am I going to cut that off? Okay, put too much, so I gotta break that out. The one thing with this 3D printing stuff is it's not very precise. Like once you start pumping some, it'll just keep going. So I have to be careful with how much I put at once. Okay. Let's really carefully. Some of these are nice because they're already sticking up, but I think that's because they're supposed to go through to the other layer. So if we flip it, now we have this side already kind of holding good, and we're just going to continue going down the entire keyboard and melting it in place. This is this whole process is very annoying and tedious, and my head's probably going to get in the way, and I'm sorry, but I gotta see what I'm doing, so yeah. Alright, I mean, you get the idea. You can skip over, watch something else. You get it by now, I hope. yeah, I'm just going to continue doing this all through the entire thing. So I'll see you guys later because this is probably going to take me over an hour. All right, see you guys. All right, so not all the mounting points were good enough to stick the melted plastic. So what I ended up having to do, I pushed the keyboard as close to the frame as possible, and I cut small pieces of credit card, lifted this, like the top edges of the keys, and put these pieces underneath here and here. The middle was already kind of pressed against as much as possible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up a little bit of JB Weld and all the little spots that don't have enough melted plastic. I'm basically going to just fill those little gaps. All right, so let's go ahead and get some JB Weld, stir it up, and then we're going to put it in those little gaps. All right, and hopefully that'll work well. So I got these 3 different screwdrivers because JB Weld is a 2-part system, and then we're gonna stir it up, and then we gotta use another one to kind of put it where we need it. So let me see how many little dots we got. Like 1, I got most of these filled. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, got about like 20 to 30. So we shouldn't need a crazy amount, but we'll see. All right, so we're gonna squeeze out just a little bit, maybe like about, that should probably be enough because it's gonna be like double of that. Okay, hopefully it'll be good enough. All right, all right, I'm gonna have to use some paper towel here to wipe up this gunk so it doesn't get all over the place. All right. Okay, so if you're wondering why I got it color coded, yellow is the white, blue is the black, and then green is the mixed. Okay, so go, and we're gonna get this. Same thing, we don't need too much. Okay, that's probably more than enough. All right, get that all. Okay. All right, and this is going to end up having to sit overnight because JB Weld takes a while to set. All right, so let's go ahead and stir the 2 portions together. Here you go, we got these 2. And we're going to stir it up. Get all mixed. This is probably way more than enough, but that's okay. Hopefully I'll be able to get it where it needs to go. Okay, because the gap for these screw holes are pretty small. Or not screw, but the melted plastic that used to be there. Okay. All right, and then we gotta be careful because we don't want to ooze it out into the keyboard and then the keys will get stuck. All right, so basically I'm just gonna get small dabs of this stuff, and then wherever it needs to kind of hold better, like in this little corner, we're just gonna dab it on there and kind of have it flow a little bit in and a little bit out, just like that. So basically like replacing those, and then you kind of want to try and make sure it sits flat. All right, so we're going to do that with all of those little holes. And yeah, again, this is going to be very long and boring, so I'm probably just going to not record this part, but you get the idea. I'm going to put this where it needs to go. And okay, and hopefully it doesn't flow into the keys themselves because that would suck. All right, so I'm going to fill this all up and I'll be back. See you guys then. Alright, so I think I got enough JB Weld in the places that need it. It's a huge pain in the butt. Alright. And now I'm not gonna know how to put everything back. Alright. So first thing, we gotta get this piece back on. We do need to lift the keyboard and keyboard backlight connectors up. Okay, make sure we're not going to trap anything. So we got the wireless antennas and the speaker cables down there that we need to make sure end up back on top. Okay, so get that around. And make sure to pull these through. Okay, and carefully get this all lined back up. Okay, you can know it's lined up because the little screw hole mounts there. We're going to drop that in. Okay, and let's see if we can kind of get any of these little pieces to push back through. Kind of doubt it, but okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I feel like I should... I don't know if I can melt these things back in place, but I feel like I should JB Weld it all. There's some that kind of stick up high enough that I can kind of just melt it down and it'll probably hold it all in place. But some of it is not going to happen, so I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do all of this. Especially these tiny ones, there's no way I'm going to be able to put anything there. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about those tiny ones. I don't know. Okay, but definitely some of them, like these two big ones down here, I can melt them down. So I guess we're going to be melting down what we can and then JB welding what we can't. So let's heat this thing up again. Alright, so basically whatever big ones that are still there, we can melt it down, I guess. And then the other ones we can't. Yeah, I don't know about this. Oh God. What a terrible design. I hate this thing. And I'm gonna have to keep rewatching my video probably to remind myself where some of these pieces came from. So this one hopefully will be able to melt. Okay. That way we can kind of just push it out and then hold that in place. Okay, that's kind of working. Alright, let's get this one. Alright, so, I mean, you get the idea. Okay, we're just going to heat up the ones that we can and push them out to kind of hold the thing down. Okay. I don't know how many of them will have enough plastic left to do that, but we'll do what we can. Okay. Uh-oh, Artemis is crying out for help. Alright, so you get the idea. We're going to go all around here, and then again, we're going to put JB Weld where we can't. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll see you guys later. Alright, so here's what's going on. Melted a bunch of them and then put a bunch of JB Weld. I'm going to have to make a lot more JB Weld, but I melted in places to kind of push it down and hold it in place, and then I'm going to use JB Weld on the rest, and some of the plastic I'm going to add a little JB Weld as well. And then we're going to go ahead and put the rest back together. So that's it for now. Alright, so now we got everything kind of covered with JB Weld, as you can see, and the other ones that we could put the solid plastic on, we did. The little holes, I ended up just leaving them because I did JB Weld all of them or melt the plastic directly on there. So hopefully the keyboard is pressed forward enough on the frame that it won't be an issue. Okay, so now the difficult part, because I gotta work in reverse and hopefully I remember what I did. I had to watch a little bit of the video to make sure. First thing we're gonna do is put back the power button here. Okay, and the power button, there's a little, oops, sorry, I'm probably just staring at my head. So there's a little slit here that this needs to go over here. Okay, and this goes down this way. I gotta be careful because there's all the JB Weld everywhere. Okay, and there. So basically we need to get this clip in first. Okay, I got JB Weld all over my fingers. So we're gonna lift this side. Okay, get that clip under. So gotta be careful. Push this side in first. Okay, where that clip is. If we can, this is gonna be tricky. I don't know. How am I gonna do that? Push that side in. Okay, and how am I gonna do this? Can I slide it in from this side somehow? Kinda, sorta, not really, kinda. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to somehow flex this. There we go. So, oh, I should have zoomed out a little bit. But basically, I flex this down and pulled up with this finger to kind of get it to bend a little, and then hopefully, there we go, drop it in. Okay, and make sure I didn't get any JB Weld on any of the parts, especially the connector. Obviously you don't want JB Weld on the connector. Okay, looks good. Let's go ahead and get the screw in. Okay, oops, I need to switch back, so let's put that away. And let's switch back to, what did I do with my screwdriver bits? I'm using the PH1 or J1, and we're gonna get this screw back on. Okay, now let's see if we can cover up most of this glue so we can continue working on it. Hopefully I didn't get any glue out anywhere else on myself. Okay, so if I remember correctly, we're gonna first put the graphene or graphite, whatever this stuff is, part first, and it has this little cutout here that you can line up with these little holes. Okay, so we're gonna slowly, carefully lower this down, and I guess this screw lines up with that. Okay, and then you got all these other little holes to kind of help guide and line up this thing. So let's see here, so we've got that hole lining up, that hole lining up. Right, this isn't lining up quite right. I don't know. I feel like I should peel this one off separately, but I don't know. We'll just put it back somewhat unevenly like how they kind of had it. So kind of like this, I guess. Right? I don't think it needs to be perfect because it wasn't perfect before, but I'm kind of like, it bothers me that it's not lined up right, but that's just how it is. Okay, so I'll stick that down. Alright, we'll stick this all down here. Yeah, it's not gonna lay completely flat the way it, like, so we're that in. And we're going to kind of work this over here. Stick that all down. Kind of work that flat. Alright, so there we go. And we got the graphene, whatever you want to call this piece, into place. Okay, there we go. Oops, I was so far zoomed in. Okay, basically we just got all this lined up, stuck it all down, and obviously there's a little bubble in it because the layers did separate somewhat. Okay, next thing, we're gonna go ahead and get the giant plastic piece in. How was this lined up? I might have to rewatch my video to see how this was lined up, because I don't want to accidentally put it on wrong. So, give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, so let's go ahead and get this thing all lined up. So, this curve actually lines up with this, and then you got the two little circles up top that you line up over here. So, line up the circle there, and you can see the little screw through the other hole, and then we just line up all these other little screw cutouts and circles here. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of push that down a little, make sure this wire ends up, these antennas end up on top. Alright, and then we got all this, so we're just gonna kind of gently push that down. Want to be careful not to push it down too hard, because you don't want to push all the JB Weld out of place. But this is how it was lined up. Okay. Good. Looks like it's lining up really well, nicely. Okay. Alright. Then we had these pieces, which are technically, this is supposed to stick down. This has, oops, this has some adhesive here, so I'm going to peel this off, and we're going to stick this down just like it was before. Alright, we'll worry about the other parts after, but for now we're just going to stick that one down. Okay, what's next? I guess we can peel this tape off, sorry, the blue tape. I'm going to peel that off from that trackpad connector so that it can go back to where it was. Alright, so we'll let that kind of go over there. Let's see, what do we got next? We had the screen, I believe. So let me see, how am I going to put that screen back in? That's going to be, okay, can I put the screen back in before I get the rest in? I think so. The tricky part is we need to thread this wire back through. So we got that, okay. We're gonna thread the wire back through here. So you need to go in sideways. So get that wire in sideways. Oh, also you're gonna have to kind of fold this a little bit back. Okay, so get that in. There we go. Oh, okay. I almost got some JB Weld on myself. Get that through, and I think, did it just drop in like that? Is that how it was? I don't remember. We gotta be careful with this. It's wanting to go into the JB Weld areas. Yeah, it did just drop in like that. Okay, so we just gotta line that up and get that in place, and be careful that we don't get any JB Weld on the connector, the gold pins area. So very important, you don't get JB Weld on this. Alright, so what we can do now, we can actually flip this thing over. Alright, and you gotta be very careful that you don't get the JB Weld on everything, but we'll flip that. Alright, we had two screws going into the back here. So if I remember correctly, okay, it has arrows. So one goes here. Oops, why are we so far zoomed in? So one goes here. That will pull the hinge up into place. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want that coming loose. And then we got another one over here. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything, because getting this thing apart again is going to be a nightmare. Alright, so we got that. If you want, you can probably carefully open the screen and just take a look inside. Keyboard looks okay. Alright, we're going to flip this back over. And we're going to carefully close this back down. I'm going to push from here so that we're not putting all the stress on the rest of it. Okay. Alright, next we had 3 screws going into the other side of the hinge. So we had one here. Okay, tighten that all the way. And the reason why I'm putting these right now is because it pinches the 2 layers together. So that will allow the JB Weld and stuff to set properly. Okay. I don't want to wait until it's completely set and then we're going to be in trouble. Alright, so we're going to get this one as well. The 2 silver screws go towards the more inner side of the computer, and then the black screws go towards the top outer edge. Okay, and I'm going to be putting all the components in, hopefully, because you see these little screws over here, out here? These help also push the casing against the plastic. Okay, then we got the black screws here, and they go to the furthest out piece, I believe. Is that right? Oh, my bad. These black screws are to hold this piece in place, and actually, they had some of the spill I just realized is on here as well. This is like sticky syrupy stuff, so I'm gonna have to clean that up as well before I put that back. Oh yeah, I should clean that up as well. So I don't know, they spilled like coffee or something on it at some point, or maybe Coke, I don't know, something that has sugar in it and dries up brown. It's probably more likely Coke or some kind of soda. Alright, so we're going to try and clean that off because we don't want to leave sticky, syrupy stuff inside the computer. Okay. Look at that. Ew. Okay, we're going to flip this and we're going to clean this side as well. Oops, sorry. You're not even able to see what I'm doing. There you go. Okay, just wanted to clean that a little bit. Uh-oh, I'm getting JB Weld on my hands. Okay, gotta be a little careful here. I think I touched this part because it's kind of gooping out to the outer edges. We don't want that going everywhere. Alright, so next, oop, did I get a little, nope. This one's actually perfectly fine. Alright, so we're going to now get this piece on, and it's a little tricky. Let's see how I can do this. I'm probably going to end up with JB Weld all over my hands, but we're going to get this piece. Let me see, do I need to zoom out more? You can see all the junk on my desk. Here you go. Zoom it out more. Okay. So this slides down into here, so might be a little tricky. Let me turn it around and see if I can see what's going on here. Okay, so this piece, you can actually see the little holes at the bottom there. So this has to slide into that. So it actually would go slightly at an angle. And I think these little hinge cover thingies help guide it, because you can't really go in different ways. Right? Is that completely in? I think so. And I ended up touching the JB Weld again, so now I got some more on my fingers that we gotta clean off. Okay. This thing's a huge pain to work on. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put these 2 outer screws. We do need to hold this plastic piece up, and then we can get that screw in. Okay, there we go. And then we get the other one, and same thing, hold that piece up and tighten that in. All right, hopefully it's in completely the right way. Looks good. This you could technically, I think, take out any time. There are some other screws that are part of it, like this back one here and this back one here. So yeah. How can I make sure that it's all the way in? Can I see? Okay, you can see from here, and you can see the edge where it's hitting, and it looks good. So we should be good on that. Okay, if you want, you can kind of pull it in a little more. Okay, now I'm probably gonna have to watch my video again to make sure I don't miss any components. But I think what's next is the motherboard, and then yeah, we're gonna have to get all the screws that were hidden underneath. So I'm gonna watch that real quick. I'll be back. Okay, I was right. So the motherboard is next. Again, make sure you have yourself grounded if you're gonna be handling this. You don't want to put static into the board and then destroy it. So this piece, you do need to make sure the antenna wires and everything do end up on top. So just make sure to be careful that you don't trap any cables. You need the LCD LVDS, this cable, and then all these other cables to end up on top. Alright, so since they do have that plastic layer on top, it does keep the JB weld from sticking on it as long as you don't drop it onto the whole thing. So we're going to get this lined up, and then you line up the little raised plastic piece here. Okay, make sure that's out of the way. Make sure this cable is out of the way. Slowly lower it down. Okay, and go. Alright, make sure this is all lined up. Perfect. Okay, so the part that got cut out last time, this little silver screw down here, we're going to put that one in first. Okay, nice. Alright, you can go ahead and route the wireless antennas back under here, and if you want, you can actually even connect it first. Okay, so we had the black and gray wires. Alright, so they just slot it in there like that. And then you have the gray one going to the white arrow. Oh, I should probably zoom in for this part, huh? So let's zoom in. Let's see how far I can zoom in without knocking all my stuff down. Okay. Get this lined up. And then once you get it lined up, it'll catch. And you can click that down. Okay. Then same thing with the black wire. Probably should have put the black wire first because now it's in my way, but there you go. It's caught. And then click it down. Alright, so we got that clicked into place. Hopefully, yeah, I don't think the wireless card should be in the way of anything, so we should be okay. Then, did we need to plug this guy in? So then we also have the speaker down here. Okay, we're going to get this. Oops, I touched the JB Weld a little bit. We're going to get this in. I don't know if it needed to follow any guides or anything else, but I'm going to line that up and then pinch that in. Okay, so that wire's in as well. Alright, what else do we got? Oh, no. There's one thing I need to do first, so I'm going to have to pop all this back out because, remember, the backlight, the dumb backlight cable goes in first. So, we're going to take this screw back out, and we're going to have to figure out the backlight, how it was folded all weird. So I'm going to take that out. We got to take this speaker wire back out. Okay. Gotta take the wireless antennas back out. I can't believe I forgot. Okay, get this out and pull this back up. That sucks. Alright, so we're gonna have to get this back up and out carefully. Alright, this is gonna be tricky. So the old wire, you can see how they had it folded. So they folded on the GY750 diagonal line, and then they have the other GY750 diagonal line that they fold up the other way. So we need to fold that the same way. Oops, I got some JB Weld on myself. So let's see, does this have the same GY750 line here? Okay, it has one. So we need to fold that at about a 90-degree angle. Where's this? Okay, GY750 here. So it's going to fold to about 90 degrees. We're going to get it on that white line. Okay. Fold that way. And then the other one, so it folds that way. And then this needs to fold this way on the GY750 line as well. Okay. Alright, so it goes diagonal that way, and then it goes diagonal this way to basically make it like a U. Alright. And then, so we got that folded and that folded. They didn't use the adhesive strip, so I'm not going to use that. But this does have an adhesive if I wanted to stick it down onto the keyboard cable. But I don't think I'm going to use that. So, hold that there and there. Okay. Next thing, let's get the motherboard. And we got to trickily get this latch flipped up. Okay. And we're going to put this in this way so the metal tabs go face down on the board. So just like this. Okay, make sure it goes into the thing completely, and then while you're kind of holding that into place, then we will slide our finger over the latch. Okay, there we go. So now it's in like that, and then we're gonna flip this back over. Okay, and now we got to get this in while avoiding all the JB Weld dots. Okay, just like this. I'm gonna flip this guy over here just in case. Alright. And we might eventually have to take this back out if the thing pulls itself back up, but we're going to slowly lower this down. Video cable there. And hopefully we won't have to redo it because that's going to be annoying. And get this cable back out of the way again. And lower this back down again. Okay, there we go. Now, hopefully, we can get this all back together. Alright, we got this, which goes across here, and then it slots back over there. There's the raised mount thing there, and this drops down. Okay, so we can actually stick this down first if we want. Alright. I don't remember if anything goes underneath it, but if it does, we'll have to figure that out after. Alright, so we had this one screw that was holding it down there, so I need to switch back. What did I do with my other little bits? Oh, it got shoved behind the other stuff. Okay, so we got that, and this goes there if I remember correctly. Hopefully I didn't take that screw from somewhere else. Okay, so we got that. Then we also had this one, which also just sat over here by itself. Okay, so look at that, and we'll put this screw in there. Oh, I need to switch back to the PH or JIS 0 or 1. I hate that, how Lenovo did that. Okay, got the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here. We're just going to stick that on top. Okay, you can see it's staying in place on its own. Hopefully you're seeing everything. We're going to get this touchpad trackpad cable. Let me zoom in some more. Okay, I'm not doing it in the exact same order. The only thing you need to worry about is the battery. If you're like plugging in the battery before you plug everything else, then you're gonna have some problems. So yeah, the other orders, as long as you can get them in, then you should be okay. All right, so got that, and this folded over this way. Okay. All right, so what do we got next? We had that little silver screw down here. Let's go ahead and put that back in. Okay. I hope I'm not putting anything that needs to be in beforehand. We can go ahead and put the hard drive caddy bracket thingy. Actually, I'm gonna wait till the stuff sets completely because I don't want this to, actually, it shouldn't touch that, huh? Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue, so we'll get that back in. I'll check. I'll push this down and let's see if any JB Weld got on it. Nope. Maybe a little bit on this, but yeah, that's not really an issue. Okay, so, but I'll wait till we get the rest of it because a little bit of the JB Weld was going on there. So let me see if I can even wipe that stuff off. So a little isopropyl alcohol and see if we can clean that off a little. Yeah, this foil thing is too floppy, so it goes into the JB Weld. So I'll have to put that on later. I'll put it last. Hopefully that's enough time for the JB Weld to set a little bit. All right. This cable looks like it might get JB Welded into place if we try and push this in right away. So we're probably gonna have to leave this to set till later. Oh, sorry. You're not even seeing what I'm doing. I gotta zoom out more all the way. All right. But yeah, if we put this down first, it's gonna stick, I believe, onto there. So we're gonna wait. Let's go ahead and get the wireless antennas in again. You already saw how to do that, so I'm not gonna zoom in again. I'm just gonna push it into place. And this time I'm gonna do the black wire first. Actually, yeah, we'll still do the white one first, or the gray one first. Here we go. Alright, so we got the black and gray wires back in. Okay, what else do we need to do? We're gonna have to put the heatsink back soon, but let's see. Let's go ahead and get this in. Oh, we can't put the heatsink back till we get that in, so we might have to just do it anyways. Right, we'll get that in. Then we got all these little brackets here. So we got this one that was holding here. Okay, this little lock mechanism one. Okay, and that kind of goes into that plastic piece, so I gotta hold the plastic up into place. Second one here. Am I missing some? Okay. We have these two. Oop, I need to switch the JS0. We had this one, and we had this one. Sorry, I know it's zoomed out quite a bit, but hopefully you're able to get an idea and you know what's going on. Okay, what else did we have? We had this one down here. Wait. Am I doing this right? I might have to rewatch. Let's see here. This one, okay, this goes on here. And then we had 3. Okay, let me double check the video. I'll be back because I don't want to put screws where they don't belong. Alright, so it's just like I thought. Let me actually zoom in a little bit more. So this one screw here. Okay. Oh man, gotta switch back to the PH0, JIS0, right? Oh no. Yeah, the 0. Okay, that one, and then the one that I marked with the black arrow. Alright, and then we had these 3. We had this one here. This one up here. Oh, why is it spinning? Not, oh, there we go. I was worried it was just turning non-stop. Alright, then we got this one here. Alright, now we got, let's go ahead and actually put this in. Make sure that's all lined up. Get that in. Slide your finger over to latch it and get that back in. And it actually doesn't touch the JB weld. Alright, there we go. Stick that all down if you can. Alright, next, oops, do we get that all in view? I hope. Okay, next thing we got is the heatsink. Let's see. What else should I put in? Let's see. Okay, we're gonna put in the speaker wire down here. Line that up and pinch that in. Good. Okay. We have the SSD. Actually, we need to put the keyboard cable, right? So the keyboard cable, the way it folded, right? They have the G750 here and then the GY750 there. So let's go ahead and fold it on those same ones. Whoa, what is that? GY750 is, I believe, this guy. Okay, GY750 here. Fold that like that. And then, right, GY750, and then fold the other one up. So this way, and then this way. And then the GY750 is this one. So fold that. Sorry if you're not able to see. We're just folding on the solid GY750 lines. Just like this. So this folded here and this folded here, and now we got this lined up. Okay. If you want, you can put the adhesive. Again, I'm not going to do it. I do see a weird gold fleck there, so I'm going to brush that. I don't want random pieces of metal in there. That's not good. At least I think it was metal. Alright, so fold that, fold this. Get this lined up in there, and then latch that down. Alright, so this is going to sit like that. Okay. All right, next thing we got, let's go ahead and get the SSD in here. So SSD at an angle, just like this. Get the one screw. All right, line that up, get that screw in. Okay, then we got the metal bracket here. Actually, do we need to get the fan in first? I think we do. Okay, so now we got to do the thermal paste. Hopefully we got everything connected properly. Let's go ahead and grab some thermal paste and get this on. Let me go grab that and I'll be back. Actually, do I have one in here? Nope. All right, let me go grab one and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So let's go ahead and zoom in. So thermal paste, you actually don't need a crazy amount. You can see these are a little bit rectangular shaped. So we're gonna make it like a long, let me clean this up a little bit because some of the dust is kind of flying on it. Right, and then we're gonna dust that off. All right, so we're gonna do kind of like a long shape here. All right. I didn't realize I was so zoomed in. All right, we're gonna just go like this. And it squishes super thin, so you don't need a crazy amount. But this chip is, or the die is pretty long here. So we're gonna do that, okay. Might need a bit more. That's quite a bit actually. Right, so just like that. And the reason why I'm piling it up in the middle is because when you go to push the heatsink on, it's gonna push all the bubbles out to the outside, alright? So this stuff is just to make perfect fit, fill all the gaps between the heatsink and the die here, alright? So there we go. Should be good. And then we got the CPU here. This one's not quite as extreme, so we're just gonna get like a little ball here, and that's should be plenty. You can put a little bit extra, but you don't want a crazy amount. Okay. Right, and we'll try and get it in the center for the most part, but yeah, since it's mostly almost square, you just want it a little bit going wide, so that way when it smushes down, it will also go to the outer edges of this. Okay. All right. Okay, so there we go. We're going to now get the heatsink on, and then we're going to tighten it in the order that it says in order to get it to spread the thermal paste more evenly. All right, so here we go. Here's the heatsink that we cleaned up earlier. I'm going to flip this over. Okay, make sure that this is out of the way. Make sure you got everything plugged back in, because after that, you're not going to be able to get anything else back in. All right. So let's see here, we're going to go ahead and lower this down. Be very careful to get it all lined up properly. Okay, there we go. All right, and then what I like to do is I like to go to there and twist backwards to hear it click. Okay, hopefully you can see all the numbers there. Okay. Let me zoom out a tiny bit. All right, so twist backwards to hear it click. There, 1, 2, 3. Then go to the second screw, click, 1, 2, 3. Third screw, click, 1, 2, 3. Fourth screw, click, 1, 2, 3. Fifth screw, click. Right, let me do it again. Click, 1, 2, 3. Sixth screw, click, 1, 2, 3. Then we'll go again. First screw, 1, 2, 3. Second screw, 1, 2, 3. third screw, 1, 2, 3, fourth screw, 1, 2, 3, fifth screw, 1, 2, 3, sixth screw, 1, 2, 3, first screw, 1, 2, 3, second screw, 1, 2, 3, third screw, 1, 2, 3, fourth screw, 1, 2, 3, fifth screw, 1, 2, 3, sixth screw, 1, 2, 3, first screw, 1, 2, 3, tighten it all the way, second screw, 1, 2, 3, tighten it all the way, third screw, tighten it all the way, fourth screw, tighten that all the way, fifth screw, tighten that all the way, and sixth screw, tighten that all the way. Okay, you can go ahead and go over again and double check. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. You don't want to tighten crazy like hard. It has a spring that pushes it, so don't worry about over tightening it. I mean, don't worry about under tightening it. You don't want to tighten too much and then crack the board. All right, so we just push that stuff back down. All right, so we got the fan now. We're gonna put the fan back in, and like before, we had to kind of get this under. Actually, I probably should have put the fans back first, because now we got to kind of lift this and then do that kind of weird maneuver. Oops, do that weird maneuver. Let me actually see if I can show you this. So we had the fan here. Okay, I'm gonna push down with my thumb here and lift this slightly to get this back in. Okay, and then you gotta lift this over that piece. So make sure to get that over. Come on. There we go. Push that in. Get that in place. It's having a tough time going back in. There we go. All right, so we have that. And then get the connector in. Make sure again that you plug it in the right way. This has the exposed pins facing up. They actually marked it, but if you're getting a new fan, you want to make sure that you put it the same way. Okay, line that up and pinch that into place. Just like that. Okay, so now we have the metal plate that goes here. Okay, we'll get that. Alright, so now we got to put the 4 screws. Oops, switch back to the J0 or PH0 screwdriver. So I'll get this one screw in. I'm going to loosely fit it first, make sure all the screws go in. Second screw. We also have the fan screw down here that we can tighten all the way. And then we got the other screw here for this bracket, and tighten that down all the way. Okay, now tighten this. And tighten this. Okay, there we go. Let's see, we got the other fan over here. Oh, if you want, we can put that screw up there as well. Switch back to the PH1 or J1. All right, get that screw and put that in. Okay. We knocked one screw down, so let me put that back. Alright, we're going to switch over to the other fan now. Okay, same thing. Grab that. Okay, and we're going to again get this piece underneath. Okay, you might have to lift this slightly and then get that over that piece. There we go. Lower that down. Then we can go ahead and put the corner screw in first here using the J1 or PH1 screwdriver. Okay, there we go. We're going to switch back over to the PH0 or JIS0, J0, and get the 2 other screws down here in. This one and this one. We're almost done putting this thing back together. All right. Go. All right, then don't forget to reconnect the fan connector. You can see the 2 little bumps on this facing towards the 2 little holes there. That's how you know which way to put it. Line it up and make sure it goes down straight. Okay, so I like to push both sides at the same time to make sure it goes in. or you can go from the side here, okay, and pinch that in. There we go. All right, now that we got that fan in, we can go ahead and put this hard drive thing in. Only a little bit of JB Weld is going to touch it, so I wouldn't worry too much. If anything, you should be able to peel this off. Okay, so we're going to lower that. Okay, oops, sorry, lower that into place. And we'll get these screws in. Is this PH1 or JS1? Yep. All right, get that screw in. Get the other screw over here in. Okay, get this screw in. All right, and the last one here. Go. All right, don't forget to reconnect it. Even though it's not really doing anything, you actually don't need to reconnect this one because it's not connected to anything, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Oh, I gotta peel this up because it's not lined up right. Come on, get in there. Let's peel this back up a bit. Get this in. Why is this being so difficult? Come on, get in there. There we go. Then slide your finger over the latch, and we can go ahead and stick the adhesive back down. Okay, now all that's left is the battery, right? Let's zoom out. And this cable is going to get smushed. All right, so here's the battery. I'm going to get this lined up. And then pinch the whole thing back in. Battery, we're gonna make sure it goes in. Okay, and that pushes down on these. Get the 6 screws back. Again, switch back to the J0 or JIS0 screwdriver. And get all these screws back in. Man, this laptop, huge pain in the butt to replace the keyboard. At least the SSD, the hard drive, the RAM are somewhat pretty easy. But yeah, if you do need to change the keyboard, highly recommend just getting the keyboard assembly. I don't know how long this took me, probably like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, that's a lot of work for just to replace a keyboard. All right, anyways, we got all the battery screws back in. The customer, their charger doesn't work, so they had to order another charger. So hopefully this will turn on. We didn't disconnect the CMOS BIOS battery, so let's see. We're gonna test it before we put the bottom cover back on. Moment of truth. Keyboard's lighting up. There we go. We got the Lenovo Legion. All right. Now we're gonna have to test like ASDF. If I press A and this goes up, we're good. Yes. Yes, we're good. All right. So I'm gonna shut this down. And now we just gotta wait for all the JB Weld to set. And then tomorrow evening around the same time, well, now it's like 4 a.m. or something. But tomorrow around like after 15 hours. So what's that, like 8 p.m. or so? Then we can take this stuff out and then we should be good. So let's go ahead and put the bottom cover back on, and that's pretty much all there is to this. Pretty much all there is to this. Like it was an easy thing. Anyways, oops, zoom back in, come here. All right, so I guess we can now get a proper thumbnail of everything all cleaned up with the new keyboard, everything. And we'll get the bottom cover back on. Just flip that over. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and snap the bottom in first. Then work our way up the back, the top. All right, and oh, I think this, there we go. Oh, I think this one clip is the one that kind of broke, so that's why it's not snapping in properly. What about this side? Why is this not lining up right? There we go. Okay, So we got that all in. Oh, never mind, it's fine. I just had to push harder. Okay, there we go. All the clips are good. Alright, so now we just gotta get all the screws back in, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. This video took a lot of time and effort to do, so please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I don't know, comment about how crazy or how stupid this design is. Alright, and if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, again, this was like probably 5 hours of work, and I made way less than I should have for that amount of time that was put into it. But again, if I were to buy the keyboard assembly, it would have been a lot easier, a lot cheaper. But even then, this design is very dumb for how much work it is to pull the whole keyboard out. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share my channel, contribute if you can, watch a few of my other videos if you can't, like and comment on those. And yeah, we're just gonna get all these screws back in and we should be good to go. Alright, also, if you don't like my repair videos, I don't know how you finished watching this entire thing to get to the end of it. But I do have another channel that does like just the reviews of random stuff. So if you like the review videos, I suggest watching those or looking for my It's Been Reviewed channel, because eventually when I can monetize that channel, I'm gonna probably stop posting the reviews to this one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.